Righto, welcome back. I've had a bit of progress. It's good to see. Got held up with the weather a little bit, doesn't really matter. As you can see, it's been quite a fair bit of progress what we've got here. Got all the walls done, they're all rendered. I didn't have any time to do any of the filming for the render. We're in a bit of a rush to beat the weather. I had one of the boys help me. He's a gun plasterer. He's done an absolutely magnificent job. Walls have come up, mate. They could not be any straighter if you tried. Everywhere you go, everywhere you look, they're dead straight, and they are dead level. Come up really good. I'll just grab a set square. So this was the crucial part for all the internal finishing that I'm going to be doing. That needed to be absolutely square, and he has delivered 100% accurate the whole way up. Everywhere you look, she's dead square. Come on, there we go. It is plumb. Okay, so yeah, really happy with how it turned out. You can see that I've had the skimmer box installed. Just whiz around and quickly show you that now. There's not much to it. Cut the hole out. Took it a little bit. Cut the hole out, cut the mesh, and she's all in there. And yeah, it was pretty straightforward. Sitting off the concrete, off the render. Sorry about the thickness of the skimmer lid, skimmer itself. So yeah, there is a glue or a chem set that I used to fix that skimmer in place once I'd cut the hole in the bricks. This is the gear here. If you've ever used anything like this before, or this product, you'll know you don't get much time with it at all. I got literally maybe a minute. Once it sets, whatever you put it on is not going to move. So if you say for instance, well, I will be doing it down here later on in a little bit. What I'll be doing is drilling some holes into the footing here. I'm putting some more starter bars up, just a couple for the first and second stairs. That wall there's already got starter bars that come up through the footing, because that's going to be a double cavity as well, double brick cavity wall, sorry. But yeah, I'll just put a few in this other one just so the stairs haven't got any chance of moving, so I'll show you that when it goes in as well. Right, just a quick one. Finish the first inside skin of this wall. That'll be the height of the bench seating area. Like I said just before, this will be a cavity brick wall. I think I forgot to add when I did the internal skin of the rest of the pool walls that I did add more steel. It had 82 mesh in it. I ended up going some more Y12 full length starter bars, horizontals every 300. So there they are there. It's basically the same in all the walls. I was in a bit of a rush and I think I forgot to add that in. So obviously you had your starter bars coming out of the footing every 300, they're Y12s as well, and then the horizontals every 300 as well, which tie into the corner bars that I had coming out of the brick wall, which ties into the steel of the walls, and then into this cavity. Right, so I finished that inside skin. I'm going to put some rods in the footing like I just said before. Just going to give you a quick demo on how I do it. I'm using the same gear as what I did for the skimmer box, which is that stuff there. It's bulletproof, it works. So I'll just sit you down. Little trick I do to just clean out the holes. Use a bit of a bike pump after you drill it out. Put it down there, give it a few pumps. It'll get out all the dust and that. Give you a bit better adhesion with the glue. fill it up about half, 3/4 of the way. Don't do them all at once, you won't get time, it'll set. Do a few as you go. Give it a little twisty poos as she goes in. Gets a bit more adhesion. You've seen that one come up with a bit of glue out of the side. That's view. Here we go. Right. You can see it comes through the caulking there in a spiral. It mixes the two parts that are in the tube, in the caulking tube itself. So it's like a two-part epoxy, and it mixes through the tube. Right. Here's that. She's all done. Oh, not again. I've had another glitch with either an SD card or the GoPro starting to shit itself. The last time, well, a couple of minutes ago, the last piece that you seen, even though I've recorded the whole lot, was me putting some rods in for that cavity there. Obviously that cavity is full of concrete now, and yeah, the pool's all done. The shell is finished. Both floors are in. The floors were pumped with a little line pump. That was all on footage that I didn't get. I'm bloody spewing. Anyway, so it goes on. Floor was 150mm thick, 32 MPa, 14mm stone. Went into the 80 slump, 70 slump. Didn't want it coming down the hill. Fine. Down here is basically the mounts for the eyeball returns. 4 little holes just so you can screw your faceplate in. Gasket either side of the liner, comes and holds it all in nice and tight. So there's the other one over there. The 25mm PVC. Now the light, I've decided to move it over. Sorry about the light there. I decided to move it over to that wall. So when I changed my mind to a liner, I did want the step. I did want the light right there where I filled in that hole. There's a plate that attaches to the wall to mount the light before the liner goes on, and that plate with diameter was larger than the rise of that step, which obviously meant that it couldn't go there. I've also had a few conversations with a couple of people in the pool building game, and they basically advised me on a few things, which was good of them. I did have 4 returns. I've bumped it back to 2 up on that top step there. Up on the top bench. So there's 2 returns up there. I did have 2 down there, one in that patch and one in there. I deleted them. They basically said you'd have to have a big horsepower pump and run at full tilt to have any effect of getting enough volume of water through 4 returns, being that I've plumbed my whole pool in 50mm. So we've gone back to 2. I may, when all the filter and chlorinator and pump and everything goes in behind the wall up there, and we get it all set up, I may toy with the idea of running a 3-way valve and punching a little bit of water through these 2 returns down here. They are, initially they were for my heating returns, but I may put some return through them and see what happens, just to try and move around as much water as possible and try and keep it sanitised and keep the filtration and chemicals doing their thing as they should. Those 2 on the second step are my heating suctions. Onto these bloody cavities. I was a bit anxious about them, to be honest, filling them. The engineer that drew up the pool, he said to me it's probably a good idea to brace the walls with some concrete shutters and some acro props. It was mainly only for the deep end for the 2 metre wall. it does go to 2 metres. Obviously the concrete down the bottom there is 150, so we ended up with a 195 centimetre depth as a deep end, plus you've got 150 mil of concrete floor, so you've got 2050 of concrete. Against all odds, she didn't fall down. I didn't brace it. I took the risk. I get her props easy enough. I couldn't find any shutters. I would have had to build them, and then I would have been stuck with them, and I couldn't sell them. So they would have been specific sizes for this job, and highly unlikely you'd get rid of them. So, but yeah, I got away with it. Concrete in the cavities, 40 MPa. I went 40 over 32. 40 gives you a bit more strength, obviously. It also, once you step up to from 25 or 32 MPa to 40 MPa, your water resistance properties, should I say, become a lot better. So that's why I kind of did that, mainly for the strength, but also a little bit of water resistance. Yeah, 14 mil stone, went in at about 130, 140 slump. I didn't vibe it. I wouldn't vibe a cavity. It's up to you. You can do it. I wasn't keen on doing it. I did push it all down with 12 mil rod. It was pretty wet. It slumped up really nice. It come out of the pump really good. We had no dramas. It was a little bit messy, as you can see on the floor, but that's to be expected. We're going to keep cracking, so hopefully the vids will keep coming a bit sooner for you if you're interested in the journey along the way. Yeah, I'm just going to whiz you inside in the shed and show you a couple of things. There's been a few people messaging me and asking me about a few things on what I'm doing and how I'm doing it, and how you're sort of dodging bullets and things like that. So I'm going to chuck you on the tripod and show you a couple of things. Stay tuned. Righty. So a couple of the biggest questions I get asked is, what pipe am I using? How am I gluing it together? Everything I've used is 50 mil class 12 pipe. All my fittings, well, in general, all your fittings from 40 mil upwards are all class 18. So there's your class 12 pipe. Your class 18 fitting, that's a 40 mil, that's a 50 mil. This was just a spare I had, nothing in the pool is 40 mil. You can see the difference in 12 to 18 there. Okay. Like I said, generally after 40 mil, all your fittings, regardless of brand, will be class 18. You can get class 9 50 mil. Make sure it's class 12 if you're doing a pool. That's an example of class 9. There's not a lot in it, but there is a difference, okay? So, something to be aware of. Now, how I'm gluing them together, I am using on every single joint a primer, which is pretty standard. And I'm using the green P-type. Make sure it's a P-type for pressure. Some of the old gurus in the game, plumbers and things, they said there's no difference between the blues, the greens, the clears, P-type, N-type, everything like that. I'm not a plumber, so I don't know. This is just my take on things. There's many ways to skin a cat in plumbing. I've done it like this in the past. Stormwater, sewerage, retic. I haven't had a drama with anything popping off in the past. So I'm pretty confident I've done the right thing here. Now, comes to cutting pipe, PVC. I use one of these. It's a fine blade, fine tooth hacksaw. I just find it cuts better than your timber saw. Timber saws still do the same sort of job. It just hacks into your PVC and you end up with a few burrs, okay? So this is cut with the fine tooth blade. Now to get all your burrs off the end, there's a few ways of doing it. There is a nifty little tool you can get from the plumbing shop. It's got a little serrated blade on it, a curved blade on it, and you can whiz it around. It sits on a little ball bearing and it runs around and does a pretty neat job and ends up making it nice and neat like that. The other trick that I've learnt, instead of end up getting all these plastic bits stuck in your fingers, is to stick your tape measure on there, give it a few turns. Okay, done. It's as good as brand new. So that's how I do it. That's how I've done it in the past. Works for me. There's a few different things you can use. You can use a Stanley blade if you want and run around. But yeah, I find whizzing the old tape measure on it, a couple of turns, brings it up like brand new. So with the primer, and this is the Bunnings brand. Basically, want to apply it. It's got a little roller on this, and they're quite handy. So don't be shy. Throw it on. It used to have a red dye in it, so you could see where it was, but that's all dried up in the bottom now. All right. Do both your fittings. Don't do one. Always do both the fittings. Like I said, this is my take on it. There's many ways to skin a cat. This is how I've done it, and it works. Alright, grab your glue. Shit, which end did I do? That end. You can tell I'm no good at this vlogging shit, can't you? Alright, all the way around. Once again, don't be shy. And do both of them. When I put it in, I like to go in, give it a little turn as you send it. Hold it for 5 seconds, 10 seconds. The P-types, whether they be green or clear, they go off, they set a lot quicker than your blue glue or your N-type. I don't have a reason why, but they just do. So that's the end result. I like to just have a quick check around, all the way around. You can see that there is the green all the way around, which means you've got a nice even coverage all the way around it. And she's happy days. That isn't coming out. Now, when I had my pool built, I was using expansion foam, sticky back expansion foam around the pipe. It was only in the cavities, and it looked something like that. So you had outside brick, inside brick. This was in the centre where the concrete was coming down. The reason I did it was so when we did pour the cavities, we didn't have a chance of smashing these pipes with the concrete coming from all the way up the top and breaking my pipes. I don't know if it's going to advantage me later on with movement and things like that. I really don't think so. No one uses it in shotcrete pools, but I did it just for a bit of a safeguard while we were pouring the cavities and filling the cavities. So now they're finished, I don't have a problem. One other thing I have always gone by in the past, and these bottles are cheap. They're sort of, you know, the little one's $5, the big one's $9. I think the primer's about the same. This one here I've kept an example. I've opened and closed it quite a few times and doing little bits and pieces of retic and things like that around the house in the past, and it's gone off. It's had too much exposure to air and the solvents have dried up. You've still got the green colour, but as you can see, it just doesn't run. Like I can almost tip the bottle upside down and it won't come out. I won't do it with this one because that's a liquid and that's still good, right? So my recommendation when it gets to a stage like this is to bin it. It's just, it doesn't perform as it should. I've had pipes that don't necessarily, they take a lot longer to set, put it that way, and I just wouldn't trust it. It's more like kids glue. Alright, that's a good one. That'll run straight off. Alright, so that's one of my little tips there. Alrighty, so that's how I've done the plumbing. Just quick, I might quick walk around if you want to have a look at it before it starts to change a bit more again in a couple of weeks time. The concrete's going down, but I'll go through all that in the next video. So yeah, there we have it, the 7 grand shell, 7.2, sorry. Next video, I'm going to try to throw a bit more into it. 3 videos on a pull shell's probably getting a bit long in the tooth now. So when we get back, like I said, I'll do all the concrete. In the next video, I'll start laying the travertine bullnose and the stack stone along that, along the face of these walls here, and then also around the stairs. Just go over the glues that I'm using, how I'm getting it level, plumb. I'll try and go into as much detail as possible in terms of this honed concrete, because it used to be my game for 10-12 years, so I know what I'm doing. Boys are coming in, they're going to help us pour it. I'm going to hone it, I'm going to cut the expansion joints myself, I'm going to seal it, so I'll show you everything like that, what machines I'm using to grind, what products I'm using to seal it, how I'm cutting my expansion joints, where I'm cutting them. Basically what industry standards should be for concrete, because I'm seeing some pretty shitty jobs with expansion joints not cut properly and cracks and thin concrete and things like that. So it gives me the shits, to be honest. There's probably other people out there in trades that see things they don't agree with, and it's frustrating because people pay good money for it, and you know, when it's your pride and joy in your house that you're trying to do up and you spend a ton of money on it, some people get their hearts broken because they get cowboys coming in, and yeah. So thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the next one. Ciao.